Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Friday. And my favorite part about Friday is that we get to chat. So today, we get right into it. Excuse me, we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about Zumba choreography. How to make it, where to find it, what's important in it, what things you need to see inside the choreography, etc., etc., etc. I started these lives last week, and I'm really happy with the response. I'm glad I was able to help some of you guys. I saw some messages from everyone, so that is awesome. So I'm really glad you guys are enjoying these. If you have suggestions on topics or any specific questions or anything like that, definitely let me know, and we'll get to them for sure. So today we're going to be talking about choreography. Hi, Christelle. I miss you. Christelle's amazing. Christelle is amazing. So we're going to talk about choreography. Hi, Alexander. I'll see you soon. Where to find choreography. As instructors, this is a really difficult topic to grasp, because on one hand, yes, we have so many sources of choreography, but on the other hand, we have a lot of it is not usable in terms of having an effective class. So hi, Diana. Hi, Danya. So where to find effective choreography. So as Zumba instructors, we have a few options. Of course, we have our Zen volumes that have the choreography that you learn it, you plug it into your class, and we're all good. Hi. And then we have, which is amazing. The new Zen volume just came out, and it's like fire. So I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. And then we have Mega Mix choreos, which you can get online on when you sign into Zumba. You have access to Zen Jam sessions, of course. Hi, Mom. You have access to Zen Jam sessions, of course, which are exclusive choreographies to that session for that ZJ. And then Chris, what up? Hi. And then we have, and of course, there's YouTube and going to classes and Instagram and all those other things, right? So there's so many places to find actual choreography. And when you find the choreography, so obviously there's a song playing, so you can find music that way as well, which is great. But how do we differentiate between good Zumba choreo? Now there's choreo in terms of traditional dancing, teaching in a traditional setting, like where you slow it down, you count them in, you do choreography, nothing really repeats, etc., etc. And then there's choreography that's good for your Zumba class. And what makes choreography good for a Zumba class? Now, the main thing about Zumba choreography and having it in your classes and having it work well in your classes is that it's simple. It's simple enough for everyone to follow. So when you're choosing your choreographies, when you are selecting what to do in your songs, if you're doing your own choreography. Hi, Marissa. If you're doing your own choreography, or if you are applying other ideas and kind of mishmashing and all that stuff, make sure it's simple enough that even the new person who's never danced, never done Zumba, maybe showed up by accident, thought another class was happening, whatever the case may be, make sure it's simple enough that they can pick it up. When you're teaching your classes, you want to cater to those people, because those people are the most apprehensive about going. Or about being there. They might be in the back. They might have just heard the music at the door. If you've come to my class, I like to turn it really loud. So they might have heard it at the door and just kind of came in to see what's going on, but they don't really know. So there's a lot of different, there's a question. How do you find a good balance between simple and too simple? That is an awesome question, Nicole. So let me tell you. So too simple is if you're just kind of step touching or doing like merengue march or whatever the case may be the entire time. So songs are broken down based on chorus and rhythm, and each section repeats. So every time you hear the chorus, we're doing the same thing. Every time you hear the verse, we're doing the same thing. Right, so when it comes to simple and too simple, it's combining combinations, and those simple movements together so that in a song, my rule of thumb is to not have more than 1 or 2 combos, meaning changing movements all the time. So if my chorus is a combo, it might have 4 movements in it, but my verses will be relatively simple. So the reason behind that is that if the chorus is too complicated, then it might take 1 or 2 times to fully kind of grasp it, kind of feel the song, then you kind of know what's going on. But you might, and you lose a little bit of confidence because you're just like, okay, what did she just do? What did the instructor just do? But once that chorus is over, the verse comes back in, and now you're doing something simple. So you could be doing reggaeton stomp, you could be doing salsa forward back, you could be doing merengue march or a V-step or something like that. And then their confidence goes back up, and they're like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. You know, so it's psychological process when you're taking classes, and a good way to kind of keep yourself in check as an instructor is to take other classes. So go to your community Zen classes, your Zumba classes, go to special events, go to different things, and then see how you feel as the participant, because as the participant, that feeling doesn't really go away. But if we're only going to our own classes, then you're going to lose that. You're going to not know what it feels like to be the participant, and then maybe you might, your formula might not be hitting home as much as you'd like it to. So there's a question. Chris, how about if you have those that want high energy peeps versus first timers? I've seen the high energy peeps leave class one time, like a mix of okay, yes, this is something that I have as well. So very, very, very good question. Very, very relevant. So when I do that, I like to mix my, oh, thank you, Nicole. I'm glad I helped. So Chris, so when I'm organizing my playlist, now you can organize your playlist a couple different ways. You can increase the intensity gradually, kind of peak and then go down and cool down, right? What I do is do this with the intensity of my songs. So I go up here, and then I'll do a really high intensity song. I'll bring it back down just a little bit. I'll bring it back up again. I'll bring it back down. So I kind of hover up down here. So with that being said, also in the beginning of my class, my full precursor, if you guys are watching and you've been to my classes before, I know my mom's watching, she's heard this a million times. She actually makes fun of me at home because I say the same thing. But I tell everyone there's no wrong way to do it. If you need, the music runs front to back. If you need to stop or take a break, go for it. I also tell them if there is something that if they're jumping up and down and I'm not jumping up and down, that's fine. You know what I mean? As long as they're enjoying the class and getting their workout in. Chris, I tend to change my playlist on the fly, like you said, catering to your students. Yeah, that works too. That works too. As you know your group, and then sometimes you're going to have group A come to class, and then group B come to class. So group A, for example, is the ones that want to like sweat, they're going all in, and group B is the ones that maybe different fitness level, different goal in mind, and you want to cater to everybody, right? So if you know your class and if you know them well, that is a good way to go. So if you know, oh my God, 95% of my class is now a group A, you know what to put. And then if 95% of your class is group B, you know how to kind of tweak it down a little bit too. Also, knowing your progressions in your songs, in your choreographies. So showing those progressions will cater to everybody in the same song. So for example, if the song is a reggaeton, for example, and you know, if everyone's wondering what a progression is, it's a different advancement in a piece of choreography. Chris, we're doing a lot of subbing, so there's group C. Yeah, subbing is one of those things. I'll touch on that in just a sec. So, Mom. Oh, hi, thanks, Mom. I miss you too. What was I saying? Yes, so in terms of progressions, for those of you who don't know what a progression is, it's an advancement in the choreography. So the base level of a movement is with the cueing, so that's when your instructor's talking to you like this and telling you what to do. And then the second level, you kind of drop the cue, you add something, and then the third level, you add something else. So when you're catering to your, I pulled my own hair. So when you're catering to your class, and you could see, you have to gauge their RPE, their rate of perceived exertion. So you have to gauge them and see how they're doing. If they're kind of heaving on the floor, you know you got to tone it down a little bit. And if they're not even sweating, you got to bring it up a little bit. So knowing your progressions in your choreographies is going to help you do that. As an instructor, it's your responsibility to watch your participants. So watch them, see how they're doing. And you can go in like forward and back in progression in terms of what you see. So if you see somebody, for example, struggling, go back to progression 1, start cueing it again, so until they kind of have a mental grasp of what you're doing, and then you can go back into progression 2 or 3. Also, that being said, Chris mentioned like some want super high intensity, so you can build it into progression 3 relatively quickly, and then gauge your class in terms of how they're doing and what they need you to do at that point. Because the people that want that full intensity, that progression 3, those are the ones, they're ready. Like they're not even looking at you anymore at some point, at one point, right? So I have a lot of these in my class. I love them. They're my superstars. They're the ones that come in late. Mom comes in late with her water bottle right to the front row. Doesn't you know? So those people, they're probably your regulars, or they go to Zumba a lot, so they know what to expect. They know the base movements. They're not mentally thinking too much. It's more their body just moving. So those are the people you could jump to progression 3, make sure they're taken care of, they're doing their own thing. Now focus on the ones that are new or that are struggling a little bit, go back to the cueing and make sure everybody is okay. Now as an instructor, I know that means your eyes are like going like this all the time, but that's part of what we do. You want your class to feel confident, you want them to feel comfortable, and you want them to come back, right? You want them to come back. So that's why you got to cater to them. You got to cater to them. And that means different fitness levels, different expectations. And Zumba, because it's a freestyle class, there's so many different styles that you can put in. And with that being said, you can definitely, there is something for everyone, but sometimes everyone's in front of you, so you need to give them all something, right? And I was going to touch on something else. Oh yeah, subbing. Okay, so subbing is one of those things. Let's see here. Yes, Nicole. Okay, the progression 3 people. Yeah, my mom is one of them. My mom, love you, mom. So for example, if I'm doing a song, I notice there's new people in the song. I know she knows the chorus. She's not even looking at me. Okay, so I'm cueing the song, and she's like right into progression 3, which is all good, which I love, right? So I definitely know what you mean. I have a few like that. All right. What is a famous song for merengue this year? Oh, Rania, merengue. Oh, right. So there's so many. There's so many. This year, as in 2018, I don't know just yet. I'm still compiling like a ton of merengue for this year. Last year there's a lot. I'll post them. So obviously Firehouse was like huge. There's the remixed one. It's like leaving me right now, but I'll post. Rania, I'll text you. I'll post them for you. Yes. So what else we got? Despacito. Did everyone see the Grammy performance? It was so good, right? I loved the Grammys this year. But anyway, I was gonna touch on subbing. Yes. So subbing. Ralston, go to her jam and find out hot merengues. Yeah. Thanks, Ralston. Yes, it's been to my jam. I'll see you in the summertime. But yes, so subbing. Now that is something, and I'm doing a lot of that right now too. I'm in New York now, so I'm working with a few different places, and I'm subbing. So with that being said, subbing is one of those, it's not an exact science, it doesn't work all the time, but stick to your Zumba formula. And make sure you have enough intensity to challenge those progression 3 superstars. And then, because they might not be new to Zumba, but they're new to your Zumba. So, and then make sure you just know your songs well enough with the cues. You know them from their base level so that you can really watch. So your playlist is going to be effective if you know how to translate it. But if you jump in and you start off at progression 3, you might look phenomenal. You might look amazing. But if they can't follow it, then your progression 3, you might as well just be like going like that, right? So definitely know your choreography, know it well, so you can cue it well, and you can, that's how we talk to our participants. We're cueing. We talk with our hands, we talk with our eyes, we tell them which way to go, we tell them come here, we tell them go away, all that stuff. And that's, it's very, very cool, but you really have to know what's happening in the song to be able to effectively do that. So when you're subbing, extra important for them to be able to walk away from the class feeling like they did what you were doing, right? That's because that's how we cue. And choreography, like I said, simple, right? It might feel, as the instructor, sometimes it might feel like, okay, something should change here. Something should change here because you yourself as the instructor are so used to the song. Maybe you teach it 50 times a week, or you used to that song and you brought it back in the playlist, and it's not feeling as exciting anymore because you know it so well. But for your participants, that's not the case usually ever. So because they're not listening to that song as much as you are unless they go to every single one of your classes. And if they do, they probably love it because that's why they're going to every single one of your classes. So with that being said, even if it feels in that song as the instructor that you're like, okay, no, this should be harder, or we should do this more, you have to think like a participant. You have to put yourself in that first timer's shoes, running shoes, Zumba shoes, and let them know and feel how they will feel as if they're seeing it for the first time and hearing it for the first time. Because, for example, if a song comes on that's like super popular on the radio, for example, okay, Shape of You. I used to do Shape of You in class, and that's like everybody knows Shape of You. I was able to add a little bit more complexity in the choreography because I can count on the fact that song is every second song on the radio. So I know people have heard it. So if it's a song like that is very top 40, very popular at the time, then you can definitely kind of increase the difficulty a little bit because people have the familiarity. They know the song layout, they know the chorus, they know the verse, they're singing it, So it's a bit of a different when it comes to music like that. But when it comes to music that is Latin or African or Arabic or whatever, wherever it's from, and it's not on the radio all the time, you have to keep in mind that your class might have never heard that song before. They might not know what they're saying. They might nothing, right? So you have to always look at your choreography and your playlist and your music with really, really fresh eyes, because that way you know how your class is going to perceive your choreographies and your playlist and your class, etc., 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 etc. So those are the main topics I wanted to touch on about choreography. Just as a quick recap, make it simple. Combos and base movements, I like not more than 1 or 2 combos in a single choreography. If you have combos the whole time, yeah, you're gonna feel like a superstar. You're gonna feel like you should be in a music video, but your class is gonna not know what's happening, right? That is because mental process, even if it's a little bit confusing, a little bit complex, when it comes back to the base movement in the verse, for example, then the confidence level is going to go back up, right? And then they're going to feel better about your choreography, about your class. And then they're going to, because if you feel, for example, when you do something new, and you feel apprehensive, or you feel like it's not, you feel stupid, or you feel however you feel when you're doing something new, you don't feel like a pro yet. You want to do, as an instructor, you want to do as much as you can to keep that confidence level up in your class, because it takes a lot for a lot of people to come to class. It takes a lot for instructors to teach the class, and we just want to make sure it's safe, happy, keyword happy environment the entire time, right? That being said, let's see if there's any questions. Yeah, Z equals MC squared. Perfect. Suavemente is my foundation song. in teaching than I get with progressions. Yep, perfect. Oh, I love that. Okay, so Chris just said, always striving for 75% educator, 25% performer. Perfect. You want to make it fun, right? You want to make it fun for everybody. And yes, Tracy, confidence is key. That's why we do what we do. That's why we like things, because we're confident in them. Whether it's Zumba or skiing or snow, whatever you like to do, you like it because you feel like you're good at it, right? So people like Zumba when they feel that they have walked away gaining something, whether it's gaining happiness, gaining friends, gaining or losing weight, gaining skills in terms of dancing, gaining music for their own playlists, stuff like that. There's a confidence level in there. And if there's no confidence in something, then people are going to walk away saying, oh, maybe that's not for me. Maybe that's not for me. So you always want to instill that confidence in everybody. And what Chris is saying, 75% educator, 25% performer. Yeah, as instructors, yeah, we're a special breed. I know. So we always go like a little bit crazy in class, which is good. As just so long as your class is feeling confident and having fun at the same time. For me, I'm like a singer. My classes are 99% karaoke, even if I don't know what's going on in terms of what language it is, whatever language it is. The songs that I teach, I listen to them quite a bit before they get to my class. I know all the words, or I know how to lip sync all the words. So that's what I just end up doing. I don't know why. I just sing a lot. So anyway, that's my chat about choreography. Who else? Hi everyone who just joined. I always engage with my students, asking them if they're sweating, are they having fun, and doing a talk test. Yes. Very good. Very, very good, Chris. Yeah, so like for Chris is saying, I do this too. Actually, I'll touch on this a little bit. So for your choreographies, and your playlist, however you're organizing it, if it's not mixed like continually, for example, in an app or whatever the case may be, if it's not mixed so that there's no actual silence between the tracks, the energy flow kind of stays up. However, if you have your playlist playing off your laptop, just regular, off your phone, just regular, and there's a pause between each song, the energy kind of goes down a little bit. Especially sometimes some songs have longer than others, so you can either make sure that it's only 2 seconds or whatever the case between each track, or you can do what Chris is saying, do a talk text. I always yell, how are you doing? How are we doing? Is everybody sweating? Da, da, da. Yeah, so you can definitely do that. It keeps the energy up in the room, because silence, especially after a song where you're screaming, you're singing, you're dancing, and then the song ends and it's like dead silence. It's the energy in the room physically just goes down, right? So definitely use those moments between the tracks. Are you having fun? How are we doing? Smile, engage. Grab water if you need to grab water. But those little moments are good and key to gauging how your class is doing in terms of their progress in the class itself, their energy level, if they're sweating, if they're working, if they need less, if they need more, right? So definitely use those to do that. Good point, Chris. I like that. Okay, what else do we have? Maybe that's 99%. You're funny, Chris. Okay, Rachel. As a new instructor, I use a lot of Zen choreos. Sometimes, if there's a move I can't master, I'll decide to sub it out, but it could be challenging to know what to replace it with. Sometimes I use YouTube for inspiration. Any other tips? Awesome. Oh, Rachel, awesome. That is an amazing question. Yes. So, like I said, confidence is key. If you're not confident in your ability to do the movement, it's going to be hard to teach it. If you can't do it, how can you teach it, right? So that is a very, very good point, Rachel. So what you can do, the Zen choreos, they're always two, so you can always check the other one. So you can always do the live class or the livelier class. So you can always check which choreo and you can mix and match the movements in there. Also, it also tells you what style of song it is. So for example, if this is a salsa, that there's one movement or one combo that's just, it's not going to make it into the class, you know, this is not happening, you need to sub it in for something else, you can go back to your base movements, like from B1 training, and throw them in there. Because if you know that it's salsa, for example, then you can try putting in different salsa movements in there and see what fits, because you also know the style of music. So there's always a song title and the style of music. So you can always try different movements from that style of music. So if it's salsa, throw in some salsa forward back. If it's reggaeton, throw in some reggaeton stomp or destrosa, and you can see how it fits in there and how it feels in that choreography. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Dude, silence is so weird except for cool down. They're so funny, Chris. How do you respond to the one student who's asking if you can change your entire choreography? Okay, this is a good question. I have had this before. So it was for my Shape of You choreography. It was for my Shape of You choreography, which is up, by the way. So I had somebody tell me, okay, so I had a class, a good-sized class, and everybody was loving it. And then I had one person tell me that they did not feel that that choreo and that song clicked. Honestly, with that said, it's a lot harder for people to come and give you something negative, like constructive criticism, than it is to give a compliment. So from her case, from her side, I know it's a lot harder to tell somebody, like, for example, it's really easy to come up to somebody and say, hey, oh, I like your hair, I like your shirt, or whatever. But if you need to come up to somebody and say, hey, you know, your hair looks really bad today, like, that's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to take as the person with the bad hair, and it's a lot harder to say as the person who is telling you, right? So in terms of choreography, if that's the feedback that you are getting or that you received about a choreography, thank them for that, because it does take a little bit of, you know, oomph to come and tell the instructor that they want something changed. And I don't know what I said. Well, for me, I shuffle my playlists around. So what I said is to that student, what I said, Rachel. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Rachel. No problem. Anytime. So what I had said to that student was that my students are already used to this choreography, so it would be really confusing to change it at this point. But I will be changing I will be removing that song within a couple weeks, which I was. So I like to flip-flop it around. So that's what I do. So, and if that person's a regular, you got to cater to them. Even if you're in love with this choreography and you think it's amazing and all that stuff, you got to cater to them. So if you have your whole class loves it, you know, shuffle it. Put it in 1 week, put it out 1 week. And if, for example, that participant is not in the room that day, right? Because you know you're not gonna disappoint him or her. So that's my answer for you, Chris. I hope that helped. Yes. All right. Perfect. So I think we've touched on everything. Thanks. I see those little emojis. Thanks, guys. All right. So if nobody has any other questions, this is my conclusion for Zumba choreography. Lots of different ways to get it, and it's really hard to differentiate what's good and what's bad and what you should use and what you should not use. That being said, use your judgment. You know your classes more than anybody, so definitely always cater to them. Cater to that new person. Simplicity is key. Throw in those combos, but always make sure there's simple movements combined in that song layout as well. You have lots of different options in terms of where you can get your choreography. You go to Zen Volumes, 2 on there. You can go to Mega Mix Choreos on yours and now. You can go to jam sessions. Yeah, jam sessions. I'm obviously an advocate for jam sessions. So you definitely go to jam sessions. I love them. I obviously hold them, and then I go to all the ones that I can go to. Every jammer, every instructor, every person's super unique. They bring their own flavor into music, into songs. So you can always learn from everybody. It's not a matter of, oh, she's better and he's more advanced and she's advanced and he won an award and she's this and that. It's not like that at all, because the key to an effective Zumba class is to engage your participants, is to make it fun and to make it effective. It's not to be the most incredible person who can do backflips and blah, blah, blah and all that stuff. It's not. So everyone has their own personality. Everyone has their own flavor. So the best way to find your own and make your class the most effective that it can be is to be a participant, because if you know how to be, if you are a participant, then you know what you want in terms of a Zumba class. And then you can mirror that in what you're giving your participants, right? So with that being said, oh, you're welcome. With that being said, use all the Zumba resources that you have. Go to jam sessions. Go on YouTube. Take classes. Do all that stuff. Oh, hey. Oh, Pinta. I missed you. Oh, my God. He's amazing. So go to classes. Go do all that stuff. And you will be the most effective instructor that you can be. All right. So next week, we're going to be talking about teaching. Actually teaching. So I know there's a lot of Zin members, and I had this question come in as a message, how to get over it and just teach. Because you can take your V1, you can take your fitness certification, you can be a Zumba participant for 40 years, you can do all these things, and taking the actual plunge into teaching, it's a completely different process. It's different. A lot of stuff happening up here, right? So next week we're going to be talking about the actual teaching process, how to be a better instructor, what to do to be the best instructor that you can be. All right. So next week, Friday, I'll be posting up the time, and I will see you guys then. All right. So I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Thank you guys for joining me today. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.